Meeting to order for tonight for the Fredonia Town Council regular meeting, May 28th, 2024. We have two council members. I know one is on the road and the other one is probably somewhere around town trying to answer the text that I just sent him. Where is he? So I'm sure that Mayor Johnson is on the highway, and he was going to try and get home if he could, but he's not the boss anymore, so he kind of has to go where they tell him to go with that truck. Anyhow, Rachel, can we call on you to give us a invocation?
Our kind of gracious Heavenly Father, thankful that we be here in council performing what we need to do for the town and let the council do what they need to do and approve whatever they need to do. We ask a special blessing on the town. We say this in the name of Jesus Christ, amen.
Amen.
Oh. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Oh, you lucked out. Welcome. Okay, we have two people, and I think only one of them is present at the present time, that wanted to make a public comment. So Evelyn Erickson, if you'd like to step right up here to the microphone and speak up, we'll listen to you.
First of all, I want to thank you and thank the city for starting this cleanup, and also thank the police. I had to call them this weekend, and I'm getting really scared and nervous living here. I was sitting out in back of my house when they started the cleanup, because I sat back there every morning and have coffee. And when they came, they started all just collecting and cleaning up and ordering. The little lady, she was ordering the people where to take stuff, take their and take it over to Grizz's or wherever. But when they got through, as they were getting through, they would stand and just stare at me, the whole family. They're like gangsters, the whole family. They all gather there, and then they get the kids involved in doing kind of ornery stuff, just staring at you. And I just want to tell you, and I'm worried about that the old man that has all the junk down in his place. They've moved a whole bunch more stuff down there, and now he's got all those sheds there. And I think it's if he ever had a fire, they would never get it out, and it's unhealthy. And I'm just gonna move away, I think. 'Cause I'm too scared.
I hate to hear that.
I'm too scared to live there. They do mean things and ornery things. That night, if I've heard them hit the motorhome with rocks or whatever it is they're hitting it. I've tried to see what they do, but I can't ever see. They never broke any more windows, but they're just too mean.
Well, the only thing that we can really legally say is that it's not just you, so feel good about that has initiated the work.
So they did clean up though.
They are cleaning
Oh, yeah,
up.
she come and she asked me, she says to me, after they got through, she said, do you want to come over here and inspect this cleanup and see if it's to your satisfaction? I said, ma'am, I don't work for this city. I says, I'm not in charge of your cleanup.
No,
And it's not to be my approval. But I said, so no, I'm not coming over there.
So this isn't really an item of business, but do you want me to tell you something that might just make a difference?
What's that?
If they cleaned up and they actually made a step and were working towards being better, hell, bake them a plate of chocolate chip cookies and go say, thanks for cleaning up, have a nice day. I'm serious.
They'd
I'm
probably
serious.
throw 'em-
You know what, you cannot legislate morality, you can't force people to be good. But, if I'm being a good neighbor, it sure seems like my other neighbors help me out. And I understand the trouble you're having, but if they actually made an effort to clean it up, even if they're barking and growling at you, go take them some chocolate chip cookies. No laxatives, no laxatives.
It's just her though, so I wouldn't even dare go over there. I would not dare. They might do something, you know, I would not dare.
They might offer you milk with the cookies.
Yeah.
You never know.
It could be poison.
You never know.
And I just think if they're vicious enough to put dish soap in my drinking water, what the heck would they do? So I'd be too frightened.
Well, I wish we could have done things a little different, a little earlier, but,
Yeah.
we wish you well, whichever you decide to do, especially if you decide to stay. But,
We're doing our best to make it better.
we're trying to
Are you
make
gonna
things
make it
better.
better? Are you gonna actually make it better?
That's the goal.
Yes, ma'am. You know what? We'd like to appoint you to be in charge of the positivity committee here in town. Drive around and look at the things we're doing. Don't just look, you know, two men looked out of a prison cell. Two men looked out of a prison cell. One saw muck and squalor, and the other man saw a beautiful mountain and a blue sky.
I know, but you gotta look at the problem. You can't overlook the problem.
Look at what we're doing. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yes, and I appreciate that, and I also appreciate the police. I don't believe some of the people in this town really realize what wonderful police force we have. Because we have the best of ever, anyone. But
I
so,
agree.
That's the way we feel about it right now, too.
yes, and.
It
and
has
thank-
taken many, many, many years to be able to say that, but we
We
feel
have-
like we're getting there.
We do, we have the best. Anyway, and I want to thank all of you and thank you for what you're doing.
Well, thank
Thank
you.
you, Ed.
Okay, I don't see Mr. Terry here, so we'll pass on that one. Okay. Was that Dirk sending me a text?
What?
I said,
I've got a
"What's
car phone. Mine's in my car.
Well, I'm gonna have to
Here, you
shut
use
mine
mine.
off. Okay. Our consent items, which involve the regular meeting from May the 3rd.
I make a motion that we approve the consent items agenda for May 28th and also the minutes from May 3rd.
I'll
Okay.
second.
And you're second it?
Mhm.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Believe me, ladies and gentlemen, this isn't as easy as it's as difficult as I make it look like. Okay, reports. I have here a report sent in, I just got it this afternoon, regarding the sewer project, which is going on out east of town. He says we're doing the final QC, which I assume is quality control of our plans before sending them to the town for review, so that we can expect that between now and probably next meeting.
Awesome.
Then, once we address the town's comments, we will need to have a formal advertisement for the bid. That is usually a minimum of 14 days. I know we're close, but we're coordinating potential utility conflicts with Skylar last week. Skylar says that he had maps, thank goodness, of all of the, like Garcane and some of the other stuff that's underground out there alongside the highway, and so he was able to get them set on the right road, so they're already moving on it. I talked to Skylar about that this evening, so. Anyhow, that's that report. Planning and zoning has been contacted about the variances for the small lots that we're gonna have to approve on some of the duplexes where they're building the duplex in the middle and then planning on selling it and dividing it. But, and this is the big but that we told Justin, the chairman for planning and zoning, that this size of lots won't be allowed anymore. Everybody else from now on is gonna have to build on a lot type where the setbacks can be addressed, because that's one of the things, especially across the street over here, where the federal government pulled their weight and built those buildings too close together. That is gonna, someday, that is really gonna cause us a headache, I'm afraid. Now, I am also in the process, I'm trying to obtain a grant for next year, but I'm doing it slow, so, 'cause I'm slow. Anyhow, of trying to get all of our ball fields, our park fencing and stuff like that around the ball fields, all new lighting systems and stuff like that. I have even talked with some of the people that used to be involved in the rodeo grounds out there, so that they can maybe give us some ideas, because some of these grants apply to stuff like that. And so, anyhow, I'm gonna turn a couple of minutes over to Dirk Ballard. I have it here on my report, but to Dirk Ballard and Ken Johnson and the building of the arch out at the cemetery. I hope those of you that got to go out there this weekend noticed the new arch across the gateway at the cemetery. Dirk?
There's some anonymous people working on an arch and it's happening. Go look at it. If you wanna see something good, drive to the cemetery. Drive out and look at the arch.
Okay. In the last couple of weeks, we have had the police department, as they're driving around on their rounds at night, checking all of the street lights, finding which ones are burned out, which ones are almost burned out. Because we have two systems going right now. One with Garcane, they come and replace some of the old style light bulbs. But Skylar out at Public Works Department has received the poles and the lights for some of those old ones to be replaced with the new LED lights. And so we're just in the process of beginning that lighting project. And then when that is done, because that's the easiest part, then he will start on the lighting for the street out here.
Do we have the poles and the bases now?
They're all here now.
They're
It's
at the
my
yard.
understanding
Okay,
that they're
good.
all out at the yard now.
Okay.
So all of that is coming in and being prepared.
We're gonna have some decorative solar lights on Main Street for you to see. If you wanna see some improvements, here in the next couple months, there'll be some improvements. Been working on that for 2 years.
I have seen some around town, we've thrown around.
No, these are new ones. These are brand new
Oh,
ones. They've
these are
got
brand
decorative
new.
bases. They say Fredonia, Arizona, we're working on some stuff. Problem is, things sometimes just go slow. We're almost a year late on this project, just because of COVID set back the decorative bases that we got.
Yeah.
But where you turn into Sand Drive, or Cowboy Drive, that light right there.
Yeah, that's on the list.
That is-
There was 18 of them on the list.
Oh boy, that light is bad.
There's a lot of them, and like I say, I think he has, I'm trying to remember numbers, and if I give you a number, it'll be the wrong number, but Clayton, you know how many poles there are?
Well, I think for the replacement lights for the street lights, we had like 25.
I was thinking it was 20-something lights.
And then there was, the decorative poles, I'm not sure the exact number, but I know it was over 10, and I know it was almost too much for that many to lift
Clayton used to work in our Public Works Department. So that's why he knows the numbers that are out there. Okay, so anyhow, we're working on that. We have made contact with the other two families on Easy Street. They are both, gave us positive responses. There's a lot of sickness and illness in one of the families. There's people that live out of town and inheritance trust wills and stuff like this that are involved. It's gonna be complicated. We are in the process of, well, we just set up we hope a meeting tonight with the attorney to try and figure out a way to get those last signatures on that street so that we can get that done. Now, we held a meeting last week with BLM, Coconino County, regarding the roads pertaining to the Wood Hill Loop Trail. We discussed patrolling, citations, surveillance, also some of the anticipated problems with the new mountain bike trails that Kanab City is involved with, and who's going to have jurisdiction where. The reason why I am so concerned about this is because those trails are going to come out of Utah and they're going to go down into the BLM area of the big space between the two ends of our loop trail. And they're going to have access out there off from the main loop trail roads. So I have already envisioned dirt bikes and who knows what all else out there on those trails. And all of the illegalities that we're fighting right now, even with just the loop trail, let alone the bike trails that these guys are planning on putting in for us. We did bring those things up. Kenny was at the meeting. He knows that I mentioned, well, when you give us some money and some drones, we'll talk about it. They weren't happy because I suggested some of the BLM officers get on bicycles to patrol it. But they didn't think very much of my comment.
On a positive note on that though, we have a really good working relationship between our town police,
Yes.
the BLM, LEOs, Coconino County, and Kanab. We have a great working relationship, and I think as far as that goes, the patrolling, I think that's very positive. And
That was what came out of the meeting, was the positivity of it.
and
So,
they actually have signed working agreements. I
Yes.
forget what it's the official acronym. but-
well, I'll get to one of those down here because one of them is with the King County Sheriff's Office. And I took a copy of that up because the state of Utah had requested it. And so I took a copy of that up to them. And also, after speaking with them a little bit, that's my next point here, is I'm going to try and make an appointment with Lieutenant Rob Johnson and with Lieutenant Alan Aldridge regarding that trail system, because where it looks like it has been drawn is it's gonna start almost right there in their parking lot. And I want them, as Kane County, to realize that there's a potential for some real problems there. Even though they're not gonna be involved in the surveillance, if you will, and the jurisdiction of it and stuff like that, yet I just feel that Kane County Sheriff's Office has been a good partner and we don't wanna goof things up there, so. Other than that, we had some cattle up in our water collection canyons, but we were able to get hold of the man. He said he would get them out of there, and I think that concludes my report. See, if you come around my office during the daytime, you'll hear all kinds of confusion going on. So, anyhow, is there anybody else? Dirk, you updated this with the arch already. Anybody else? Okay, we'd like to welcome our new clerk on the end over there, Tracy Stumpf. And then I'll get to to you. I just wanted to recognize, oh, you're gonna do it, okay, have at it.
One of the most important things that you can do in any organization or a city is have good employees. And over this last few weeks, I expressed to you at the last council meeting of how good Jamie is, Justin, Lisa, and how good they work together within the office. Cecil, you see it, day in and day out. We had some great interviewees, and we selected Tracy Strump to be our deputy clerk, and she is proving to be exceptionally good in a short period of time, and I'd like to have her just give a little bit of a background on her.
You get to talk too.
To talk. Well, I was born and raised here. My parents lived here all their lives. My dad was born in Arizona. My mom lived out at Moccasin. So this is my hometown. This is my place where I will live until I die. And I'm excited because I see good things in Fredonia. Jamie is wonderful. I'm going to be calling her up a lot. I've only been with Justin one day, but he's good. And Lisa has been right there, and I'm excited. Thank you.
Thank you. Ted,
Thank you.
I know you've got some other stuff there for us, Ted.
A few other items to update you on. The audit. As you know, the 2021 audit, working with the consultants, was completed, and there was many lessons that we should learn from. The 2022 is near completion. Many of the items that were found in the 2021 audit are also duplicated in the 2022, and we're starting to undergoing starting 2023. And so the audits are going as good as we can expect for right now, and we'll be giving you more greater depth update on that as you need. Any questions on the audit? Okay.
We'll probably, I guess, Jamie, you can teach them how to set it up so that our next meeting, we can have there went the word. Executive session regarding the audits and things like that. Put that on our items to be discussed next time. And
Does that need to be an executive
Yes.
session? Under which? Or are we looking for, cause there's A, B, C, or D?
I'm not sure which one, that's
Are
why I said
we looking for legal advice?
partly,
Is there problems that we can't share publicly?
I think so,
So we need legal advice.
probably.
Okay, all right.
With
I
regards,
don't know everything.
Oh, I'm just looking for a.
No, I'm glad, because I had never really realized the three distinctions in that designation, so that's good, thank you. Okay, Ted, go ahead.
we'll definitely add that to it. And then also there will be some time needed to be devoted to budget. The budget for 2024, 2025 is going good. All the department heads had a deadline of May 23rd to get their input in. Good to report, all of them completed those tasks. There is different requests, different approaches, but it'll all be worked out, and it'll take some of your time and especially some attention to some of the things and lessons that we've learned in the past. Retention being something that we want to keep in mind, and make the budget to where it takes care of our most important thing as people. We're on track to present the 2024, 2025 at the June 11th council meeting. That would be presented. It wouldn't be approved. The approval would happen on June 25th, but there would obviously need to be some working time and working session and input on the magnitude of the input of raises and the retention but each department head came about it a little bit differently, but
Can I make a comment? Are we live streaming?
Yes.
yes.
Okay, good. So just for the public's information on that, and just something maybe to work with on some of these budgets, is, there have been times that our budget says we've got $10 million in the budget. And at the end of the year, we spent $5 million, and there's only 500,000 left in the budget. Does that make sense? There is something called a grant contingency fund. Are you familiar with that?
No.
We need to familiarize ourselves with that, because there's some of these things that people are requesting in their budget. So like if we were in the state of Utah, you can have a budget amendment, and halfway through the year, if you get a grant for 500,000, you can say, okay, we're gonna up our budget by $500,000 for this particular department. But in the state of Arizona, what your budget is what it's supposed to be at the end of the year. So some of this stuff, though, instead of putting it directly into that department's budget, we can take that and put it in a grant contingency, part of the grant contingency budget. So at the end of the year, it still says, okay, we had a $10 million budget, but if those grants don't come in, we can't spend it. And for the general public, if there's people at home, that's why in the past, we've had people who worked here who went home and said, well, they had a $10 million budget, they spent $5 million, and there's only 100,000 left in the bank. It's because there was money in a grant contingency fund that didn't come in and wasn't spent. So for the bottom line, at the end of the year though, some of these things in different departments, we should put, and maybe have that discussion,
Yeah.
those things should be put in the grant contingency instead of that department's main budget.
Okay. Thank you. We do work off a fiscal year budget, and July 1 is the beginning of a fiscal year. And so that was why that timeline kind of led up to that, so that we would have a live budget going into July 1st would be the goal. But that's gonna take some effort and some time. We have pool update. The interviews, the pool is open. I have a paper here that says the pool is open up June 8th, I believe is what it was. And for some reason, I don't have that update with me. But the hiring of the lifeguards was completed, and they're undergoing training and certification. They have to be certified to be lifeguards. And so it's coming along pretty well and doing well. I was gonna give you the times that the pool will be open, but it'll be publicized fairly soon, and it's going well.
And that doesn't happen until June 8th.
Saturday, June 8th, is
Oh.
that correct? Saturday, June 8th? And all the training and the hiring went well. We had some good applicants and good people there also. Good supervision, manager part also. Any questions on anything brought up so far? Anything that you want to bring up? Okay. We'd like to thank you guys for all you do and appreciate it. And Evelyn left, I think, already, but this town is awesome. You do great.
Thank you, Ted.
Ted, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Tim Judd, I think that's you back there, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
If you want to step up here to the microphone, I'll see if I can find my paper here. We even found one that pertains to fire departments. Whoops, my walking stick. Okay, Okay, if you'll raise your right hand. I, and state your name,
Timothy Keith Judd,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
or affirm
or affirm,
that I do hereby declare
do I do hereby declare,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
Constitution of the State of Arizona,
Constitution of the State of Arizona,
and that as a member of the Town of Fredonia Fire Department,
that as a member of the Town of Fredonia Fire Department,
my fundamental duty is to serve the people.
my fundamental duty is to serve the people.
I swear to protect,
I swear to protect,
to safeguard and preserve life,
safeguard, and preserve life,
health, and property
health, property,
against fire and other perils,
against fire and other perils,
and to maintain a proficiency
and to maintain a proficiency
in the fire service.
in the fire service.
I recognize the badge of my office
I recognize the badge of my office
as a symbol of public faith and trust,
as a symbol of public faith and trust,
and I accept so long as I am true to the ethics
and I accept as so long as I am true to the ethics
of the fire service
of the fire service
and make these promises,
and make these promises.
I do solemnly, freely, upon my honor.
I do solemnly, freely, upon my honor.
Thank you. Welcome
Thank you,
to the
fellas.
group. There's some of our fire people here in the back.
Congratulations, Tim.
Didn't recognize you with a hat on. Okay. Thank you, Timothy.
Thank you.
Been a neighbor of his mother and father for many, many years. And knew one of his uncles a long time before that. Okay.
Somewhat, yeah.
Okay, we have a discussion of possible action regarding the Buckskin approval for serving alcohol outside. Leanne Kelly, well,
No.
you're Chris, okay. Would you like to explain that to us?
Yes, well, first I'd like to just thank you in the past for all the help that I've gotten from the city of Fredonia, crossing a lot of hurdles with getting opened up. But this step requires an approval to allow our west side to have outdoor seating. And again, we're in negotiations with Iron Rock and Ross about getting approval on cutting the door on the west side. So this is all being done, but the hurdle here is getting through the DLLC, and without your approval, I can't go to the DLLC yet. So that takes a long time. So what I want you guys,
What, say that acronym again?
the Department of Liquor Licensing.
Okay.
Yeah, so they take a long time, and basically the door getting approved to be cut in there is taking a long time. But while I'm waiting on the door to be cut in, I wanted to move forward with the DLLC. And so I'm asking for, they need you guys' approval to accept us to be outdoors first, and so then I can cut the door.
You'll be on the outside on the west side.
Be on the west side, yep.
So it won't even be visible from the highway.
No, and that's what the DLLC wants. They want us to be enclosed, which I fenced it off
Yes.
since, and so that you couldn't have anybody jumping the fences.
Kelly, so this is something that you had to check with the liquor department, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. What did
That's the
they say?
DLLC, yeah. What's that?
What did they say
Oh,
about what you're planning?
Well, we submit a form to show that we're gonna do this, but the town of Fredonia has to say, hey, we think it's okay, before I can even submit that form. So then,
So this is step one.
right, well,
Step two is, okay, we said it's okay.
Yep.
And it still has to go through the.
right,
Okay.
right.
Okay.
And then they'll come and check the property, make sure that they think it's fine. But in all this, it's hinging on the door. So,
That's all right.
yeah.
We
so
get it.
anyhow. That's where we are.
It sounds like fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be nice to get everybody out there with that beautiful view to the west. And
Right,
Yeah, since it's been cleaned up.
have you been in?
I haven't been in, but I used to read the meters, so
Oh, yeah.
I know what the backside used to look like.
Oh, it was a disaster. Yeah.
Okay, anybody?
So what is the official wording then, where this is, we basically just approve this so that it can then go on to the DLLC? Did I
Approve-
say
yeah,
that right?
Approve the opening of a doorway so that they can have the seating outside.
Well, are we approving the door? I
No,
don't
it's
think
not, no,
we're-
you're not approving
we're
the doorway
approving That we're okay with them serving alcohol.
outside.
Okay,
Yep,
okay.
that's what it is.
So,
So
what are
make
your
your motion.
thoughts, Kenny?
I don't see any problem in it at all.
Just keep them back there, put some bars up and all that, yeah. You'll be fine.
Let them out the next day.
Well, I make a motion that we approve item number 2, for serving alcohol outside on the west side of the Buckskin.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, well, motion
Hey.
carries then.
So do you have something
Congratulations.
you need to have signed in order to send down there?
Yes, I do.
We have it.
Okay.
Well, we're gonna sign after.
So we can get him to sign that. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, they've got a whole stack of stuff back there I gotta sign when I get through.
All right.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hope it works out for you.
Thank you.
Okay, discussion and possible action regarding uniform purchase for the fire department. Rachel Bunting and Clayton Johnson, it looks like.
Awesome. Well, good evening, gentlemen. I'm coming here to ask you guys if I can spend some money on some gear. I'm wanting to buy new gloves for all the firefighters that are on right now, as well as particulate hoods. So the fireproof Nomexes that we have, the ones that we have right now, they're getting old and wore out first off, and then they have a new style of hood that's out that actually prevents the particles from being absorbed into the skin. It's another barrier.
So
And so I'm-
you're not talking uniforms, you're talking turnout gear.
So we're doing both. So she's gonna be talking about the uniform. She knows that she did all the stuff for uniforms, but I'm doing, the actual gear that we need. And then I also have a quote for 10 pairs of boots, but I only need 3. Because we are getting new firefighters and we've had Clayton Brooks, Caleb Butter's been using some old ones, and now Tim Judd also needs a new pair of boots that actually fit them, rather than the ones that we have that are too small or wore out or cracked or anything like that. And so, just with 3 pairs of boots, I'm getting 15 pairs of gloves, so we have some backups, and then 10 pairs of those Nomex hoods. And that grand total comes out to $4,296.10 from the quote that I got from this company. And like I said, they're in,
4,296.
yes, sir, and 10 cents.
And where is this money coming from? Do we have this in the fire department budget?
When I talked to Donnie, that's what he said, yes.
It's in there.
Mhm.
Okay.
That's what he said there, so.
Okay, Rachel?
So, we have, like you said, we have new fire department members, and we haven't bought t-shirts to look presentable for like the last 4 or 5 years. And we need to get some t-shirts for the new guys and replacements for our older department members before the 4th of July, so we look.
This is t-shirts, you say, but this is gear they wear underneath their fire gear, right?
This is, the gear is his, I'm doing t-shirts for,
This is kinda like.
I know, but you wear it underneath
Yeah,
the other
yeah.
gear, is what I'm
Yes.
saying, yeah, okay.
and we're also getting the new guys polo shirts with our logo and their names and what they're gonna be like. Tim will be a firefighter, so it'll be T. Judd firefighter on his polo. And the quote that I got, and I called 4 or 5 different t-shirt places, and the only one I could find was in Overton, Nevada, that will do polo shirts. And we've done business with them, and they hand delivered it the last time we ordered the t-shirts. So, and she's willing to do that again, to come visit family up here. And the estimate for all of it was $2,491.76.
For how many
2,000?
t-shirts and how many polo shirts?
We did a lot. We did some hats as well for the new ones too. She has them all divvied out on different sizes. We did from 4XL tall to medium.
So you ordered 400 t-shirts, you
I
ordered
don't know the-
20, what does a lot mean?
I'm gonna say,
So there's 56 logos that are being printed, so I'm guessing 56 total.
well, yeah, and then 20 hats.
There should be a quote package in your packet.
It looks like this.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, this is the paperwork for Leanne and, what did you say his name was, Keith?
Oh,
Kelly?
Witzke or, oh, Kelly, Leanne.
Yeah. I didn't realize that was in here, so, but yours is in here too, they said, so. Oh, no, that's something else. Did you find it, Dirk?
Oh, okay. That just seemed $2,400
this
seems
is
like a
all
lot
part
of
of
money
it.
for t-shirts.
I
was just
see
kinda
what they're-
wondering.
She has them all broken down on each size, and the polos.
So, okay, and I'm, if you guys say you need it, I believe you, but like on the one, we've got 56 t-shirts. Do we have?
That's the grand total of them all.
So
We're getting 10 extra shirts. We're doing blue and black shirts. We have one blue and one black per person.
So that's just extra stuff that we can keep on the shelf, so when other people do join, we can just hand them a shirt and get them going, just an extra inventory for the different firefighters that may come and go or need new shirts or stuff as time goes on.
Okay, and this is coming out of the fire department fund also?
Yes.
And the money's in there?
We are also doing the 4th of July breakfast donations too, and we were probably gonna use that to purchase them.
Okay. All right.
Okay, any motions?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the firefighters t-shirts and the gloves and Nomax hoods, 3 pairs of boots.
The gear totaling $4,296.10 and the t-shirts totaling $2,491.76. I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thanks for doing it.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you for your trouble. Okay. Discussion and possible action regarding development plan for Wood Hill Road. I tried to cover most of that in my report. I can't remember what I was, other than I wanted to just open it for discussion on, a little bit on
That's good.
what was going to be happening up there. It just kind of makes me apprehensive about the whole thing.
So I think we might be talking about two different things. The mountain bike trails that they're talking about is
Yes.
different from the Wood Hill Road plan. About a year ago, we signed, so maybe 10 years before that. I need the paperwork in front of me. But originally, when the town put the roads out,
Mm-hmm.
we signed an agreement with the BLM that we would do that, we would maintain that, and that's where some of this confusion came, that the BLM said, well, no, you're supposed to be doing the whole thing. Well, that came up and we were able to re-sign that agreement, and if we stick to what they do is they'll sign that easement over to the town.
Yes, but
And-
it hasn't, so far it's just a renewal of the 25-year lease.
But what that is you have to maintain that.
Yes.
And then at the end of that lease, and it may not be 25 years this time, but if we live up to our part of it, then they will deed that to us. And I honestly don't know what the advantage to us would be that we own that easement, other than we have a say
Yeah.
in what happens. So the bike trail and the Wood Hill Road are actually two
It's two separate
different
things.
things.
The only thing is that my problem is, and this is one of the things that Kenny brought up in the meeting, was that the actual footage of our road allotment is 32 feet, not the 16 feet that the trail actually is.
Right.
And that we're supposed to maintain 16 feet of it, but there's an actual 32 feet.
In the end, the easement would
Yes,
be,
the easement, that's the word I was
the
looking
easement would be
And
32
the
feet.
right of way is 16.
for. Yes,
So that's good.
But I think at
And
this
so-
time, we're doing everything we're supposed to do.
at this point, yes. So anyhow, that was one of the points that Kenny got across in that meeting the other day. The other point, I invited the BLM officers, if they wanted to ride their bikes for jurisdiction in the actual policing of the mountain bike trails, and they didn't accept my offer.
And
I'm
there
just
again,
afraid-
and there again, we're actually fighting a fight right now with
Yes.
them that doesn't need to be fought over the bike trail.
Just anticipation of. The only
Yes.
reason why I say that is because I am apprehensive of the fact that there's going to be 3 different ingresses or egresses off from our maintained road onto that bike trail where dirt bikes, et cetera, are gonna have access. And that's the part that scares me. And so that's why I wanted to talk about it a little bit, was to just more or less make everybody aware that this is what's there, this is what's the possibility of happening, so that when it does happen, that we're a little bit more
If-
prepared, we hope. That's right. But like I say, if we do our groundwork, then that if becomes a lot more positive instead of the negative side of it. And that's what we're working for. Okay, so no action
Can I say
required there.
something?
Yes,
I feel quite a bit about getting a grant to finish the middle part of that Wood Hill Road, where we could build to go all the way through it without having to go through all those gullies and go mile around out through the sagebrush. I think it'd be better off if we could get a grant to finish that and then just make it better for the BLM, seeing that we are trying to maintain it and trying to make it better for everybody. 'Cause
okay.
It would be usable road then.
Yes, that's one of the things that I have requested from Skylar, is some idea of the scope of it, I guess you'd have to say.
Yeah,
So we're thinking about it.
okay.
But the grant, yes, I agree with you completely.
The grant, they said also in the paperwork, they said it could go through Parks and Recreation. So we could probably get a grant through that to finish that up. So that's just my thinking.
Okay. Okay, discussion and possible action regarding the budget planning for 2024 and 2025. Ted, have you got any other comments regarding that?
Well, it would seem that we need to have a special meeting,
Yeah.
and there's sensitive issues that need to be discussed, so it'd be one of the executive session type discussions, because we're gonna be dealing with personnel people and pet projects, whatever, you know, but it'll be subject to your schedule and time, but it would be, it might be best to have it shortly after we get the consultants get their first draft maybe done, and then have a discussion at that point.
In 2 weeks?
Yeah,
Cause I think Lars is planning on having that available in 2 weeks.
that was the plan, so that it would be available by July 1st, the fiscal year. But if we had it in between, Jamie, would you think that would be the best time?
You're right, June 11th, he'll be ready. So you're gonna need that special meeting soon after that. Enough time to give you guys some time to digest it and then come prepared to discuss it.
So with what you're saying, Ted, one of the things, if you have an executive session, if you're gonna discuss personnel, that is one reason that you could have it in executive session, although if we're gonna talk about specific names, we have to contact them. But if it is, say, Public Works, and we just wanna talk about personnel in general and not specific names, we could still have it in executive session, but we just can't talk about the specific people, but we could talk about positions, and same with police department. So as
Yeah.
far as executive session, it could be put under personnel,
Okay.
but we, on our end, we have to contact, if it's Public Works, we have to say, hey, we're gonna discuss personnel, and if it's police, then we say, and if they wanna be present, they can and should be, I think.
Okay, so we will make sure then, in the wording for the setup of this for our next meeting, that we have that proper terminology and everything applied. And I know that there are ARS codes that we have to meet, and so that's what we'll do.
And it's probably worth a phone call to our
Oh,
lawyer,
yeah.
just say, hey, this is
We've
what we're
already,
planning.
we already got 2 or 3 other things to talk to him about, so
Okay.
we're making a list. Thank you, Ted. Okay, discussion and possible action regarding donation to Kane County Water Conservancy District for the 24th of July Pioneer Parade Celebration and Fireworks Show. I was not aware if the town had ever donated to that previously. If you look at your thing, it's regarding the fireworks show and everything else that they hold up at, is that the one that's Jacob Hamlin Park up at for the fireworks show? They're requesting that we donate anywhere from $25 up to $1,000, so I didn't know what your feelings might be on that, or if anything had ever been done before, or if we even have a fund for that.
Well, according to this letter they sent, we gave them $500 last year.
Well, that's what I thought too, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah, they did. I remember that.
Do you?
We did give 500.
And that would come out of that would just come out of our general contingency fund, cause I don't think we have anything budgeted for that. Is there another place where we have money that we could use? So it just have to come out of general contingency?
Okay.
I don't know, good neighbors make life better.
Good fences too.
I make a motion that we donate $500 to Kane County Water Conservancy District.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So we will take care of that then. Okay. Get the right piece of paper here. I think that's everything.
I do have
Unless
one other
anybody else
question
has
on the budget. I was talking to the police today about, grants they're trying to get as far as hiring personnel. And before they can do that, we as a town have to get on that website and verify that they are a legitimate entity. Have they been talking to you guys about
Yes.
that? And because we have a deadline on that, where are we at on that?
Go ahead, Ted. She's gonna duck her head.
No, we had to start over. I had to reapply, delete our account and start forward with a new government grant process. Jamie got in through the first step, and then we ran into another, and we have to have I would call it an administrator, but they have another term for it, that allows certain people to come in. And that's my action item first thing in the morning, is get that done. But we did run into an obstacle that was, that we had to start.
Insurmountable.
Yeah, we had to
Hey, I know they put in 2 or 3 hours on that project trying to get into the program.
This was a question, not an accusation.
No, it's not being taken that way.
It was just more work than expected, and we literally had to start over.
Thanks for working on it.
It just has taken a lot more. The conclusion that I came to is that we had some personnel here in the office as many as 15 years ago that possibly set up all of the safeguards and backstops and everything that computer programmers like to have. And it was never written down. Nobody knows what it is or how it is or where it came from. And so that's why these people have had to set up a new program, reapply and get things going. We are working on it so that we can get it and some of these other grants and stuff that we're working on. I've got a list of half a dozen different things back in my office that I'm working on, so.
And I do have one other question that goes as far as the budget goes. We discussed the possibility of going forward with putting down crusher fines or chert on top of the levy. We can't cut the levy down or nothing like that, but we can smooth it out and we can put that on there. And we're looking at a minimum of $16,000 to do that. And even if we do that without putting the fence up, I really think that we just can't keep putting this off year to year. We've been maintaining it and doing a good job, but where in the budget, I don't even know where to ask for that to be put. Would that be under Public Works? Would that be?
Oh, boy, I don't know enough about it to be able to counsel you on
Jamie
that.
just whispered in my ear. Skylar's put that in the public work budget, so it's in there.
Already did.
Yes, so
Oh.
that's
Got
for
it
the,
from the city council, so that's why Lars has a pretty big budget for him. But
Okay.
it's all documented as to
That's
why.
in there.
Well, it's
Awesome.
as a request in there, it's not,
Okay.
that's gonna be.
It's not a done deal, but, okay,
Until the special meeting.
okay. Thank you.
Just stay up there, Ted.
Okay. Well, then I think that's everything, unless there's anything else that someone has.
Talking about playground equipment now.
No.
No. Well, it's not 10 o'clock yet.
It's 8 o'clock.
We only do that at 10.
Okay, so it's 8, well, no, it's only 7:57 right now by that clock there on the wall, so we'll go declare this meeting terminated and concluded.
I'll second that.
Thank you for the motion.